Pop quiz hotshot. 2 third-party companies are releasing MP-scaled Combaticon teams at the same time. What do you do? What do you do? It's 2017, and there's a lot of things that are changing for the Combaticons. I really hope a lot of you are reading the IDW series of Transformers comic books, or else things just got really awkward. Before we get this little discussion video started, I just want to throw a shameless plug out there. I am on a podcast that covers Transformers and other nerd stuff with a couple of my boys, Jed, Levy, and sometimes Jefferson. It's a show called Blackout Shout. You can find us here on YouTube and a billion other places, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So check that out when you get a chance. Let's take a little trip through the slideshow. Alright, so let's take a look at these guys one at a time. First up is Vortex, and this is the Zeta Toys Vortex. Right out of the gate, it's kind of weird looking in robot mode. A lot of kibble, proportions are a little odd looking. The helicopter is more like the one that Blackout was in the first live action Transformers movie. But I mean, I'm alright with a slightly different alt mode. And I'm actually alright with a stylized robot mode too, as long as it looks good, but to me this is a little odd looking. And you can see here a shot from the back. It's full of kibble. It's weird looking. Here is a comparison shot with the only Unique Toys Vortex I could find, which was part of a group Combaticon shot. And looking at the Unique Toys Vortex, it's a little better proportioned. Looks like he can move a little bit more freely and not so full of kibble. And here is a comparison shot with the original animation model. Now, granted, Zeta Toys, the designers, they came from Toy World, and Toy World, as we know, or as most of us know, I think, they were shooting more for Studio Ox type of thing, so they weren't necessarily going for the cartoon accuracy. But in this case, I just wanted to show off the animation model, and the Unique Toys one seems to pull it off a little bit better. Everything's kind of where it should be. Now, this isn't exactly cartoon accurate, which, you know, sometimes some of these figures are cartoon accurate to a fault. Like some of the official Masterpiece ones, they're very little detail and not a whole lot of paint apps and everything. So I dig it when it's a little bit more stylized, as long as it hits all the cues. And if we look at the Unique Toys one, it has a lot of the Vortex cues. You know, the blades on his back, you can see him, and these guns or whatever they are on the shoulders, and the forearm cannons, as you can see here. And he's kind of shaped the same way, and they got the head sculpt. I mean, both of them pretty much nail the head sculpt, but overall, Unique Toys, at least in the early going, wins this one. Next up is Blastoff. This is the Zeta Toys version. Again, just like the Vortex by Zeta Toys, he's really kind of overly thick looking in robot mode, and got just tons of unsightly kibble. Looks really good in alt mode. You know, they definitely got the alt modes nailed down, but again, the robot mode just, to me, doesn't really cut it. Okay, so here's a shot from the back, and not as bad as the Vortex, because the Vortex had the blades and all that other stuff going on. It's not quite as kibbly as that one was, but still just something kind of off about the robot mode. And here is the comparison between the Zeta Toys Blastoff and the Unique Toys Blastoff. And again, I feel like the Unique Toys Blastoff is a little better looking. Somehow they were able to make the robot mode out of the space shuttle without making it look as kind of odd as the Zeta Toys one. Everything's a little bit more proportioned. The chest is a little bit bigger. You know, the arms and legs are a little thinner. There's kibble, but not unsightly kibble. And here it is matched up again with the animation model. They both have some of the cues from the animation model. You know, 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. I mean, you can see the chest shape here with Blastoff with the 3 little ovals on it. You know, they kind of nail that down, and you know, the landing gear on the front of the legs, and you know, over here he's kind of got the chest as well, and the thruster feet. You You know, there's some things that both of them do right, but overall, as far as aesthetically speaking anyways, I feel like the Unique Toys is kind of pulling it off a little better. One thing that's worth pointing out, I found one other shot of their blast off in the group shot of the Combaticons, and I don't know, people were crazy thinking that he was going to be coming with two kinds of different feet, but I think what they did was they're giving us the option. In the animation model, as we saw in the last one, he kind of has the thruster feet. They're going to give us the option of either having the thruster feet or having regular robot feet. I realized that in the animation model that's what it looks like, but truth be told, I kind of prefer the look of the regular robot looking feet. I think it looks better, but it is a cool thing that they included both options, or they look to be including both options anyway. I guess we'll see what happens when they're actually released. Next up, Brawl. Have two decent shots of Brawl here. On the left, the Unique Toys version. On the right, the Zeta Toys version. Both of them pull off fairly well what they're trying to. The Unique Toys one is doing a little bit more of a G1 style robot, and the Zeta Toys one is actually pulling off the Studio Ox a little bit better than the last two robots that we just showed you. When it comes to the animation model, the Unique Toys wins hands down. I mean, they have all the cues, the tank turret on the back, they have the tank treads on the shoulders, you can see the chest section is fairly the same. Colors are a little bit different, but that really doesn't bother me. This is more of a military green anyway. You know, the legs, they got the tank treads on the back of the legs and stuff. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but again, this is one of those situations where I think cartoon accurate to a fault, you know, some of the toys are. This one not so much, and even though this one has a lot more sculpted detail and a lot of things that aren't on the animation model, to me it's still cartoon accurate because it hits all the cues. One thing that I think is worth pointing out, and this is just obviously a CAD drawing, but you can see the gears on the Zeta Toys version of Brawl over here. They don't have the tank treads. On this one, you can see the tank treads are on it. On this CAD drawing, the tank treads aren't on. The fact that we can see the gears on there is leading me to believe that their tank is going to actually have working treads. We saw that with Toy World's Constructicons, Scavenger, and Bone Crusher. Both had working treads, which is completely amazing, and I dig that they put that much thought into the engineering to make it work. That's not going to happen on the Unique Toys version. Now, it's not a make or break thing, and honestly, I think for the look of the robot, I prefer the tank treads just not to work if they can make the robot look a little cleaner. You know, when you have working treads on an action figure, it's going to be one of the situations where you're going to have to work that into the design, where, you know, they can kind of just put these on the back of the legs and not have to worry about them working. They just put the little wheels here in the treads so that he does still roll on all mode. You know, and that's up to the preference of the buyer. To me, I just kind of prefer the look rather than it actually working. But both of them look, you know, fairly decent. I think that the Zeta Toys version might be a little bit more of a realistic looking tank mode, at least in this prototype gray. The Unique Toys version over here nails the animation model. You know, it hits the cues. The main one being the guns, the double-barreled gun that goes on the back of it in all mode, which I think is pretty good looking here. They don't really have that version on the Zeta Toys version that I know of. I'm not sure. We haven't seen any accessories for it yet, but as of this shot that I have here, it doesn't have it on there. But both tank modes look pretty decent. And here's Brawl in comparison with the original Studio Ox drawing. And I would say that this Combaticon, out of all of them, kind of nails the look of the Studio Ox version the best. And I can't say that they do that for all the Combaticons. They take some cues for some of them, but for the most part, this is the only one that really nails it. I mean, if you look at the legs and how the feet are laid out, with the exception of the treads sticking up in the back, it's pretty much the same. If you look at the crotch section here with the little circle and these trapezoid type shapes here, that's there. The chest sticks out, juts outward, rather than being kind of flat like Unique Toys and the original animation model was. Everything kind of fits this version. You know, the tank mode, we got the double antennas sticking up in the back, and everything kind of looks like it does in the Studio Ox version. So they did a nice job there, and I really do think that out of the 3 prototypes and color test shots that we've seen so far, I feel like Brawl is the best looking one from Zeta Toys. Everybody's favorite shyster, Swindle. This is a prototype image on the left here of the Zeta Toys version, and this is the Unique Toys color test shot. Again, the Zeta Toys one is really kind of blocky and almost uncomfortable looking, where the Unique Toys version looks like he's a little more fluid and a little more athletic looking, a little more apt to just jump off the TV screen. Unique Toys did a fairly decent job of hitting the cues. The windshield is upside down, and I gotta imagine that that's just something they couldn't make happen engineering wise with a real life transformer, where you can see here that these sections are underneath the windshield and here they're above. Really doesn't kind of bother me a whole lot. You see the headlights and the grill section, they got in the right place. The wheels, you can't really see them but a little bit there, but the wheels on the back of the legs, wheels on the back of the shoulders, head sculpt looks good. Over here, the head sculpt looks fine. I'll have to see it in color, but again, very blocky and almost uncomfortable looking. A little bit too much kibble on the forearms for my taste. Both of them clean up fairly well. I think the Unique Toys version does it a little bit better. You can also see here that he can hold his shoulder cannon as he did in the animation model. I've seen it in a couple different places on these early test shots, so we'll have to see how many different spots you can plug it in, but it looks good there. The Zeta Toys version, we'll have to see what happens when they start releasing the color test shots. Not sure how I feel about the axle, the exposed axle on the back, but it really doesn't bother me a whole lot. When I first saw the pictures of this, I saw the purple hood, and I'm like, well, that can't be right. And then I went and tracked down the animation model, and it is, in fact, right on the money. So they pretty much nail it. You got the cannons and the missile on the side. Everything looks just like it did in the animation model. Zeta Toys choosing to go with the Hummer rather than the Jeep. And I'm not really sure how I feel about it just yet, but it's definitely different. And just to compare it to the Studio Ox version looks kind of like some sort of dune buggy vehicle. So again, Zeta all over the place. They went with a weird alt mode choice for Vortex. Blast Off was alright. They went with a weird choice here, going with a Hummer rather than either the Jeep or the original Studio Ox dune buggy-ish type of thing. And I just think that if you pick one road, you should kind of go down that road for all the figures. I'm not sure why switching it up. I think if you're going to do a completely new thing, you should stick to it. If you're going to do Studio Ox, you should stick to the Studio Ox version for all of them. If you're going to do a G1 screen accurate thing, you should do that. So a couple odd choices by Zeta. And last up is the leader of the team, Onslaught. On the left here is the Zeta Toys version. On the right is the Unique Toys version. The Unique Toys, this was the only shot I could find. I couldn't find one by himself, so we can't really see the entire thing. He's a little obscured here by Vortex and Blast Off, but he's Onslaught looking. It's really kind of hard to say. And the Zeta Toys one, this one's not bad looking. The only thing that I really kind of don't like about it is this extra kibble on the forearms. I think the legs look decent. I think the chest looks decent. Double cannons. They got the head sculpt. He's a little puffy looking, I guess, a little big, kind of thick looking, but that really, I think it looks decent. Again, just a little bit of extra kibble kind of bothers me a little. Zeta Toys kind of nails the look of the G1 cartoon, I think, a little bit better this time around. Not to say that the Unique Toys version looks bad, it looks good, it's just a little bit different. You can see the chest, the two chest pieces on either side with this piece in the middle, and they kind of do the same thing here. The cannons are different on both of them. It really doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that they're there that matters. Got the forearm wheels. Can't really see a whole lot over here in the Unique Toys version, but the other wheels on the Zeta version is in the chest section, and all the wheels here are on the arms. But again, you look at both of them, they both look like Onslaught. So I really kind of think they both passed the test there. It's just kind of a matter of preference when it comes to which one you think more. Alt mode, both of them, the armored carrier, and can fit other members of the team on the back. This obviously on the bottom is the Zeta Toys version. This one on top is the Unique Toys version. One thing that I like about the Unique Toys version, I see no spot here where the truck can actually turn independently of the trailer. Up here, you can see a definite a hinge, I guess, or a joint here where the trailer and the truck can kind of turn separately from each other. So I kind of dig that. And down here, it looks like it's all one unit. Not a make or break, but just kind of a nice little touch that Unique Toys put into it. Both of them had the cannons kind of resting right behind the truck. And the original G1 animation model kind of has the cannons back, sitting back like on the trailer itself. I like the choice to put it back behind the truck because I think it leaves the trailer open to do exactly what you see here, which is carry other members of the team. Going back to having an actual trailer hitch, the G1 doesn't. So, you know, whether or not that bothers you or not, I kind of like it. You know, I like when they kind of add a little something. So I think both of them do a decent job in truck mode. Here are some size comparisons. These are all Unique Toys size comparisons. Up here in the left-hand corner is Swindle and Brawl with MP Megatron and MP Optimus Prime. And down here, lower left-hand corner, is the size comparison with MP Sideswipe. I think this is a pretty decent size for the individual robots, you know, give or take. Over here, what I did was I used the group shot to get this Onslaught, and I used my size comparison here with Optimus and Brawl to kind of get an idea of how big Onslaught might be, and it looks like he's gonna be, and it's hard to tell because this is just a quick Photoshop, but it looks like he might be the same size as Optimus, if not maybe slightly a little bit bigger, which I'm alright with. And I don't think all the robots should be the same size. You know, the leader class masterpiece scale figure they don't all have to be 9.5 inches tall at the head. I think as human beings, we're all different sizes. Some of us are 5'5", some of us are 6 foot, some of us are 6'5", some of us are bigger. So I think that robots being slightly different sizes, I think it makes sense. And I think a leader of a team called the Combaticons can be kind of a bruiser, so him being slightly bigger than Optimus Prime really kind of doesn't bother me a whole lot, but I think this is pretty good. And I think that the size difference between the leader and the limbs is also pretty decent. I don't like when there's a whole hell of a lot of disparity in size. I don't like seeing a leader class guy this tall and then maybe seeing the limb bots really short. You know, I think that these guys are a pretty decent size compared to the leader, and I think they look nice and cohesive as a team. And I did the same thing with the Zeta bots, and you can see here the Optimus Prime is a little bit shorter than the Onslaught, which I really don't have a problem. He's really big, and they have a big combiner on their hands, so kind of figured that the leader robot was going to be kind of a big guy. And I did the same thing to kind of put Onslaught and the limbs in size, because I got this size from here, and then we had a couple shots where Optimus was standing alongside of Vortex and Blast Off, and used him to kind of get this size for Onslaught versus this size for Blast Off and Vortex. So pretty decent size in comparison to each other with the leader and the limbs. You know, there's not too huge of a disparity in size there. So I think that size-wise, I think that they'll look good together in an individual bot. So now, and I think this is most important to most people because I feel like a lot of people are going to be displaying their Transformers, their Combaticons, I should say, in combined mode. Bruticus by Zeta on the left side, and the Bruticus by Unique Toys on the right. This isn't really scaled exactly right. I know that the Zeta Toys one is going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to be to the tip of the head, right around the same size as the Toy World Devastator. And I know that the Bruticus by Unique Toys is going to be slightly shorter to the top of the head, roughly about the same size as the Combiner Wars Devastator. So the Zeta Toys one, I believe, around 20 inches or so to the top of the head, and the Unique Toys one about 18 to the top of the head. So there's going to be a little bit of a difference there in height. Let's take a look at the aesthetics of the whole thing here, and this is in comparison to the G1 cartoon. And as you can see, both of them nail some things, and both of them don't, but at least both of them are obviously Bruticus. Okay, so from the top down, just a few differences. Head sculpt, you know, the same. You got the double cannons on the back, even though they're slightly different. The chest piece basically kind of looks the same on either side, which is not exactly how it was in the cartoon, but we're going to get to that in a later slide with the Unique Toys version of it. We got the blast off. On the Zeta Toys version, the blast off cockpit is facing inward, and it looks to be facing outward on the Unique Toys version. On the animation model, it's facing inward, so Zeta Toys got that a little bit more accurate. We got what looks like the tail of the helicopter up here and the cockpit section down here, which is how it was on the animation model, and they also did the same thing. One can argue maybe a little bit more accurately on the Unique Toys version. The leg section, the Zeta Toys one is a little bit cleaner. They're using the same style hips and waist section that Toy World Devastator did, which is going to be parts forming, which I have absolutely zero problem with when it comes to combiners. I think it's clean looking. I think it looks good. Over here, this looks to be either part of Onslaught or part of Onslaught's trailer. A little bit busier, a little bit more detail, which I also don't have a problem with. It's a 6-to-1, half a dozen the other situation here. My preference is the look of this waist section on the Zeta Toys version. And over here, Swindle facing forward with the wheels on the back, which nails the animation model, even though you really can't tell what the hell's going on there too much outside of a little bit of purple here, wheels on the back, wheels on the back. Zeta Toys choosing to go with the underside of Swindle. And both of them kind of doing the tank the same way, except this is over here on Unique Toys doing the whole tank. Over here, this one kind of folds over, and that's where it connects to the knee. So they do it slightly different, but both of them are pretty acceptable. One thing that's worth noticing here on the Zeta Toys version is that the tank turret looks like it can be pushed in and made a little bit shorter, which I kind of dig. You know, over here it's the full length. I'm not sure if it's mistransformed. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to be pushed in. As of right now, it looks like it's the entire length. It doesn't bother me a whole lot, but I do prefer the ability to push it in, retract it, which is kind of nice. So I really feel like this is where the Zeta Toys got its cues from, because when you look at the chest plate, it's exactly like the original G1. Blast off facing inwards, the underside of Swindle, facing forward. Brawl kind of like folded over halfway in front of the turret, folded over halfway in front of the turret here, also in the original G1 toy. So they really kind of nailed the toy look, which I think is cool. The Unique Toys version does it slightly differently, as we saw, displaying the front of Swindle and doing the tank a little bit differently. But overall, again, with the chest plate, doing it the same way as a toy. So I think Zeta wins here as far as this look. Unique Toys does not look bad, though. One thing that is worth noting on the Unique Toys version, the chest plates, looks like they're going to be sending 2. I love when a company gives you a little extra, and I think this is completely awesome that they're giving you choices. They're giving you a G1 toy accurate version of the chest plate on this side here, and on this side they're giving you a G1 cartoon accurate version of the chest plate, which looks kind of like part of Blastoff's cockpit with some wings on it. I love when they throw a little extra something in there for you, and that's what they're doing here. So they're letting you choose between a little bit more toy accurate or a little more cartoon accurate. So there's all the comparisons for the Bruticus. I don't know how you say it when you got more than one Bruticus, but anyways, that's the comparison. So now it's time to make a decision. I think you have to figure out what's best for your collection. Obviously, what are the determining factors? For some people, it's money. And if we look at it that way, the Unique Toys limbs are being sold for $90 a piece, and the Zeta Toys limbs are being sold for $60 a piece. So if I was to take a rough estimate at how much I think Onslaught might be, for the Zeta Toys Bruticus, you're looking at roughly a $350 purchase, $360 purchase for the entire team. For the Unique Toys, you're looking at closer to around a $500 purchase for the whole team. So if money is an issue, then Zeta Toys would be the way to go. If money's not the first and foremost concern, then we need to take a look at what is important in your collection. Are you one of those people that takes your Transformers off the shelf and transforms them often into all the different modes, alt modes and robot mode and combine mode? Are you somebody that's just going to display your piece and not really mess around with it all that often? Is scale important to you? It's important to me. I don't know that it's important to everybody, but it is important to me. So let's take them step by step real quick. If you are going to play with these often and you're going to transform in all the different modes, individual bots, alt mode, and combined mode, I would probably lean towards the Unique Toys version. I feel like they have better individual bot modes. They have pretty decent looking alt modes of what we've seen so far. The combined mode is really nice looking. They give you the cartoon option, the toy option, so that's pretty nice. If you're one of those people that really kind of only displays your pieces and doesn't mess around with them all that often, I'm going to assume that 99 out of 100 of you that buy combiner teams display your pieces in the combined mode. If that's you, if that describes you, I would probably lean towards the Zeta Toys version, because I think that their Bruticus kind of looks a little bit better than the Unique Toys version. And that's not to say that Unique Toys Bruticus looks bad. I just think that I think the Zeta Toys one is a little bit more menacing looking. It's a little bit better looking. You know, everything's a little bit cleaner, I think. You know. And I'm only judging based on the Toy World Devastator because they were put out by the same design team. If scale is one of your concerns, if you're talking scale in robot mode, in individual robot mode, again, maybe leaning towards Unique Toys. If your scale matters in combined mode, I would say that I would lean towards the Zeta if you already bought the Toy World Devastator, which in my opinion, and again, not to match everybody else's opinions out there, but this is just my personal opinion, I feel like the Toy World Devastator, even though Toy World slightly oversized all their robots, I feel like that fits better in a masterpiece collection combined, not necessarily individual bots, but in combined mode. I feel like they match up with the official masterpiece scale a little bit better. So you have a little bit of thinking to do, and you have a little bit of time left because those pieces haven't, they're not out on retail, they haven't been released yet, the pre-orders are up, so you have some decisions to make. Good luck, happy hunting, and have fun shopping, and we'll see you for the next video. If you dug what you just watched and you found it helpful in making your decision on which Combaticon team to purchase, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't be afraid to check out the rest of my channel. I have some speed art videos in Photoshop, some Transformers related stuff, some music videos, some tutorials. There's a little bit of something on there for everyone. More to come.